All in order. Are there any students here speaking about this evening? Seeing none. Anyone in the body have any announcements this evening? Seeing none. Presentation. Now I'd love to welcome Ariel. Can we give her a round of applause?
Hi, everybody. So thanks for having me. My name is Ariel Tarosky, and I'm the Director of Sorority and Fraternity Life. I've been here for almost 3 months, and it's been a slow 3 months. Not much has happened. Got a good laugh at that. So a little bit about me. I am coming from working at a national fraternity for the last 5 years, and I focus primarily on education and curriculum development and working with health and safety and risk management, and then doing a lot of our communication and website and magazine. But I really miss working with students because I only got student interaction about 3 times a year when we did our national events and regional programming, and I just missed homecoming and as crazy as silly as we can be. Like, I missed those little things, and I knew I wanted to be back on a college campus. And then when I saw all the work that OU is trying to do and everything and the commitment to social justice and where this Greek community can go, I was really excited about the position. So that's what brought me here. Prior to Triangle, I worked at Coastal Carolina, which is in Myrtle Beach. It was a great place to visit, not so great to live. But I do have experience being a director of sorority fraternity life there. And then I was at Carnegie Mellon. So I've been in the field working with sororities and fraternities for about 10 to 11 years. It is a crazy job, but it's amazing. I'm a proud sorority woman. I'm a member of Phi Sigma Sigma. Organization's not here, but one of the things I'll talk about in a little bit is that sororities and fraternities, when you strip them all down, we're all pretty much based around the same kind of core values. So to give you a little bit idea about the sorority fraternity community here, if you're not too familiar, we are located in the Baker Center in 330. Right now, the staff is comprised of myself as the one professional staff member, and then I have 4 amazing graduate assistants, 2 returners in their 2nd year. One that works specifically with our NPHC and our NGC communities. Our NPHC is our historically African American groups, and our NGC is comprised of Alpha Psi Lambda, which is a Latinx co-ed fraternity, so made of women and men. And then we have Matt, who is our GA for our Interfraternity Council. And then we have Justice, who is our GA for our Women's Panhellenic Association. And then we have Jeremy, who is our graduate assistant for our Greek Programming Council. Our community is made up of 31 fraternities and sororities. And after this fall recruitment, we are at about 16 to 17% of campus, which is pretty good considering the size of the student body here at OU. Over the last couple of years, we have had higher grade point averages than those not affiliated with sorority fraternity life, and those that have entered into our system, we've seen higher retention rates within our organizations, all up until graduation and then placing in the job. So being in a sorority fraternity has amazing benefits. So one of the questions that was posed to me is like, what are my goals? What did I want to do when I came here? And I want to talk a little bit about it, but first I kind of wanted to get a scope. So who is affiliated with the sorority fraternity? I know I see something on the faces. Okay. So, and it might be kind of going off of what you expected here, but can you talk to me about what you believe the sorority and fraternity community here specifically at OU values based on like what you have seen, what you know, what you've experienced. Not what like you just think, but really what you have witnessed and what you've experienced. And this is like honest conversation because this is, you'll get why I'm asking you this. Don't be shy. Yeah.
Brotherhood.
Brotherhood.
Sisterhood.
Yeah.
A sense of community.
Okay. Sense of community. You really think that's what they've been valuing after everything that's been happening in the last 2 weeks? That's not what's been in the media. Like, what are the things you see or experience? What about those that aren't affiliated?
Yeah, it's a party culture, it's a drinking culture, and it can be an exclusive culture that pushes outsiders out.
Oh,
Inaccessible.
thank you. Other thoughts? Yeah. Yeah, right. So like if you're not in it, you wouldn't understand what we're doing with it. Yeah. Any other thoughts? So why I wanted to engage in that conversation is because I think the things that we've seen in the headlines and maybe the conversations you have all been having, or maybe not, I don't know. But the things that I've been like looking at in social media is that if I didn't know, and I don't really know because I've only been here for 3 months, is that the community does value alcohol, that they value hazing, that they value probably some sexual violence, because I have seen about the conversations that have happened over the past couple years with the banners. That they do value brotherhood and sisterhood, because I've seen like some communities pull together over this stuff. That there is like this exclusivity that has been created. And I say that because when those things are what it appears, that's what we would articulate as our values. And so my goal when I came on here is that I wanted to be able to have a conversation, not just with those members that are affiliated within our sororities and fraternities, but those that aren't affiliated about what do we value here in our organizations. Do we actually value brotherhood and sisterhood? Do we value integrity? Do we value social justice? Do we value chivalry, character, inclusiveness, lifelong learning? What are some of the values? What are values that they apply to?
Character, college loyalty. College loyalty, character, I don't know.
Academics, right?
Academics, yeah.
Philanthropy, commitment to the community and service. We're never going to be able to identify those as the values of the community unless we are acting through those values in our daily behaviors. So that is one of the things that I've really wanted to work on by having conversations with the men and women in the community, by being able to talk to people not affiliated and get a true feeling of, is this what you're seeing? Is this what you're experiencing through your daily interactions? By seeing about what is put on social media and in the newspapers, and so that then we can work through that. What are the structures that we can put in place for our community education? Are there any challenging conversations that I can have? And then, obviously, the last couple of weeks have happened, and so I've had to try to readjust where we go from there. I think that the same goals are still in place, but now it's just about figuring out how to rebuild some of the relationships that we may have fallen back a little bit on. And then also we have a PR issue that now we need to figure out. So I guess, and another one of the questions was how can all of you get involved? How can people get involved that's not within the sorority and fraternity community? After we figure out where we go from here, which is we want to work with the groups that are not engaging in behaviors that are not conducive to the sorority and fraternity experience. We want to get them off of suspension. We want to get them to an active operating status so that they can get back to the things that they value, like philanthropy and service, chapter operations, leadership, development, all those good things. We want that first to happen. And then we want to talk with them about where do we go from here. Because I think that this is a really great opportunity for our community. I think we have a time for a fresh start and we can really build. I think we're going to start to see some new leaders emerge. That's at least what I'm hoping for. I think that this is a great chance for people that maybe never considered joining our sorority and fraternity community might take this chance to do so, because now they're empowered to change the narrative. That we're not going to stand for hazing in our community. We're not going to be just about events with alcohol, that we are going to live the values of brotherhood, sisterhood, academics, philanthropy, and service. We're still going to have fun, yes, but we're also going to care about all these other things, and we want people to lead that change. And so I think that this will be the chance for other voices on campus to get involved in these organizations, and we welcome it. So that would be a way that I would hope you all or your friends or other people that you know, other leaders on campus, could start getting around the table. Even if it's not joining in one of the organizations, it's joining focus groups that I'm going to be starting and helping me determine like what can we do to make our community stronger. Because we are here to make the OU experience better, and then the Athens community better too. So that was a lot in a short amount of time because I really wanted to use this as an opportunity for you to ask any questions that you have of me, of the community, of the vision for where we go from here.
What is the vision where we go from here? Like, is there like a timeline for those like on suspension versus ceaseable assist?
Yeah. So all my weeks actually are blended together, but last week I met with the 15 IFC presidents and we came together with a set of categories of what would be good directives to put in place. And I approached the conversation with them as like, what are the things that you feel can help make your chapter and this community better and stronger? So think about the things that as chapter president, you may be really struggling with that you've never had like the teeth behind you to put in place. So like, you know that your members will never listen to you. Well, now you have the opportunity to make a change. Think big, think bold, here's your chance. So they had a week to go back. If they wanted to participate, they could, they didn't have to think of those short-term visionary objectives to put in a plan forward. So for example, moving forward, we will sit with the SFL staff to talk about our plans for new member education. Moving forward, we will determine the amount of events of alcohol that we can have based off of our GPA as a chapter. Just things like that. I'm not saying that that's what they will be, but these are some of the ideas that I've started to see come forward from our chapters. And so they are all due to me if they wanted to participate by tonight at 11:59. We're all coming together tomorrow evening, and I'm working to compile all of those plans that are submitted to me into one master, like IFC plan forward. Those groups that are not on a cease and desist directive from community standards and student responsibility will be able to then work to fulfill those directives. And the directives will be hopefully things that our groups are already doing now. And they could easily come off of a suspension within the next week, I would assume, based on the things I'm seeing. And they're things that I think are pretty reasonable, if not higher standard than I would have put forward. So I would say that those 6 groups could be back to normal operating status next week, but that's up to them. It's their timeline is based off of where they want to go. As far as the groups that are on the directive with community standards and student responsibility, they have to just go through that process on that timeline. That doesn't come through my office. Yeah.
So I went on the safety walk during Accessible Ohio last year, and we stopped at 2 different chapter houses. And I think there were only 1 or 2 that were accessible. Are there any plans to make Rush more accessible for students who don't have the same abilities as others?
Yeah, and we actually had conversations about the accessibility in a couple of different formats and what that looks like. I will say that it's going to be a harder journey as far as accessibility for individuals that like are wheelchair bound and can't like get up into the houses because the facilities are not owned by us as a university. And so they're either privately owned or owned by their national organization. And so to be able to make those changes is going to be a slower process, but I am an advocate for that and I want to have those conversations. So I think the initial conversation was to have students that are passionate about it and to bring it to my attention so that we can begin those discussions. And then also having conversations about what the recruitment process looks like and how we can be more inclusive and aware of the different needs of people wanting to go through the process. So yeah, we are having this discussion. Yeah.
As someone who is not affiliated with Greek Life and just kind of knows from friends being involved in things like that, how does OU's like community and like the amount of sororities and fraternities we have here compared to other universities we've worked at? Because I know like I learned today that OSU has like 37 fraternities or something, and I was like, that seems like a lot. So I don't really know much about those things. So compared to other universities, like how is this? Is this more than what you have worked with in the
capacity, or are we normal, or small, or?
Percent, like the ratio of what we have compared to the student body is pretty average to small. I would say that the thing that's difficult, is even based on number, I don't feel a large Greek presence here, and I think that that's what's more difficult to me. Is that I would normally see more representatives around this floor that are affiliated. I don't know what their presence is like in student orientation. I know that we do have a lot of tour guides that are Greeks of us, but like, the conversation that I continue to have is we don't see Greek letters anywhere. And so I can't gauge like if our community is large or not because I don't see it. I don't see it on campus. I know that they're not super engaged in inviting administration to things, inviting the president to things, and so I think you could be 2% of campus, but if you're like the movers and shakers on campus, it doesn't matter. But I guess to answer your question, I think we're pretty average with where we're at with our peer institutions.
Yeah, like 17% seems less than what I would think for more most college campuses, but I agree with you that you don't have a super large presence.
Yeah, as far as number of affiliated students or average, we do have a smaller number of organizations as compared to a lot of schools. Most communities have a larger number of ISC organizations, and WPA sort of got surprised by that, but I think based on where we're at with recruitment, we're not in a place to bring more in right now, so. Yeah.
The first one, not even necessarily for us, but just on-call basis for their role. So how much students are able to collaborate with other sorry, collaborating with maybe other schools and see what they're doing. I can see why all updates and
That's a really good question. I will say that I think this situation happening probably threw me into working with other institutions faster than I would have. Because my focus for this year was really building the partnerships internally with students, with campus partners. But I had to like reach out to people who have been through similar situations, and so I've actually gotten a lot of support from other campuses, not necessarily in Ohio, but other institutions that have been through similar things. And so I think it will also be helpful for our students to maybe turn to them to see like how do we rebuild from here, how do we rebuild our PR presence and things like that. So there will be a lot of good resources. Plus we have a lot of opportunities for specifically our council leadership to go to a conference in Indianapolis where they get connected with councils from all across, mostly like the Midwest, but they'll also get to meet some other people in various parts of the country, and then they'll be able to connect and hear resources throughout the remainder of their term. But I will definitely continue to establish those relationships on that. I'm going to a conference next week with Jenny to be able to talk with other headquarters staff and campuses about trends that are happening and to talk about hazing and health and safety, so that would be timely.
based on the docs question was regarding mental health functions, especially in like adding extra stressors to members of the but just in general in a community that is so close-knit and like sometimes it's hard to suffer from mental illness. And like that have the program set up already in chapters that encourage talking about mental issues and how to use the environment. What are your plans specifically in each position?
Yeah, that's a good question. As far as for this semester and what we have planned, we don't have anything specifically put out there yet for them. I know that individual organizations have the structures in place. We are putting out a FAQ to the community. I don't know if it's going out tonight or tomorrow, but it will have resources for counseling services, for other resources on campus. You understand that it is a hard time if they're not not all of our groups are able to interact with their brothers and sisters right now. So we are at least providing them with the resources. I've tried to make myself available so that they have somebody to talk to, but I understand that might not be their favorite option right now. But I think that that's really good feedback to think through. That's even like so.
I think kind of a follow that question, another major issue facing a lot of Greek organizations is substance abuse. And I know there have been over those steps in the Greek community. Is there any steps currently to help with that, or is that also in the works?
It's in the works, yeah. I mean, we started at the beginning of the semester to do education for our presidents, risk managers, and social chairs to at least just talk about what's going on, to provide them with the training of how to be smart social hosts. I think first to talk about how we're holding our events with alcohol, right? Because I don't think that I can eliminate alcohol in our events. We have to use it responsibly. We have to first figure out how the events are being held, and I think that will help things out. And these directives, it's good to see our chapters take the lead up if they're recognizing that we can't continue how we're holding our events as is. So that will help us because there will be student support behind it. But yeah, it's clear that we need to do some further education, but not just stand up in front of education. Let's have a real discussion between brothers of what are we facing and how we work through this and operate some support. And then that's why you can lean on the headquarters to come in and offer some guidance. So yeah.
I know, because I am not directly involved in Greek life, but I was wondering about what the intersection really is between Greek life and the LGBT community, because I know a sentiment that I've shared as a transgender student is I hear about I've got friends who are in sororities right now. And I'm dang, that's really cool. I wish I could do that, but I'm trans, Yeah, I would have been in a sorority if I wasn't trans.
Yeah, and each sorority nationally has a different policy on that, but I know that it's something that as I'm working with campuses, they're trying to create their own policy for affiliation so that you can go through the process. But I know that unfortunately national groups have different affiliation clauses. That's something that I had hoped to research more and figure out.
Yeah.
So that is something that I'm committed to learning more, because I will say it's an area of weakness nationally for specifically for sororities more so than fraternities. Shockingly enough, fraternities are a little bit more on the cutting edge than sororities when it comes to LGBT rights. So
Very interesting.
yeah, we can talk about that more. Oh yeah, go ahead, Judy.
So, what is the timeline for getting the system right?
Yeah, so we had an assistant director candidate on campus today interviewing. I have to reconvene with the search committee and evaluate everybody's evaluations of the candidate for this year today. Just determine if that person was a good fit for the community, if they would be a good fit for the team. And then we would go from there to see if that's what to move forward with. If not, then we would have to go back to the drawing board and we could potentially push back things into the spring. So if they are a good fit, then we probably still would have that person start until the beginning of the spring semester, just based on having to wrap up that current job. But, I mean, my hope is that they would have been there 2 months ago, but yeah.
Does your department ever conduct internal disciplinary measures for the
That was one of the first things I started working on, is that when it came, I asked the question, well, I guess I should start with, I knew that groups were having unregistered events with alcohol, like welcome weekend, the weekend after sorority recruitment. And I, like I said, I grabbed them and better not have those. And they were like, for what? I was like, good point. I can't do anything. Because organizations can only be held to the student code of conduct. But we have a set of standards and values based on our umbrella organizations, just as values of three-letter organizations that I want to be able to uphold our groups to. And so we're in the process of creating our code, I don't know what it's called, but that will be able to hold up to those standards that would not then go through a community standards and student responsibility. So we're working on that. And then we would create a board made of students, maybe advisors. We don't know what it looks like yet, but yeah, we're working.
Because something important probably for if you're looking to have real culture change in an organization like that is to make sure that that's being promoted internally instead of having to go.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Okay, so like all organizations that I guess are considered a threat to sorority, like I don't know, like I know what it is when you look at it, I don't know if there's like some academic, like this is a sorority or fraternity, like do they all go through your office or something like, or like is it like the same sorority? Like I'm
Yeah, no, I should have started with that. Yeah, so it essentially asks a difference of like who goes through our office. So we oversee the social Greek letter organization. So there are some like honorary groups, there's academic based groups. I know that there's like business sororities and fraternities. We see the social Greek letter organization, so that have that like social component. That's the best way. I wish that there was a better way to explain it, but the sororities are for our women's groups, and then fraternities are men's-based groups, and then we have we have 4 different councils, which I kind of talked about at the beginning, which are MPHC is our historically African American groups, and then we have MGC, which right now is just made up of 1 organization, but that is our co-ed Latinx fraternity. Yeah, so we see all of the social organizations.
So why have the fraternities who have been put on cease and desist, like the hazing allegations, how come those haven't come out yet? Like the specific allegations of this like hazing term, which is very broad and makes sense.
Yeah, so we want to be like thoughtful and sensitive of the process that goes through community standards, because they have a set process in place to be able to investigate and find out all the things that are happening through that. And so typically when allegations are brought forward before that process even happens, then they don't have like a fair and due process through that. So I think the confusion that has happened through all of this is everybody keeps saying like, where's our due process? But no one has been charged with anything at this point. It's simply just allegations of a violation or of a behavior. And so that's where the investigation is happening, is so that they can be fact finding. And then once that happens, if a charge is placed, then those allegations would come forward. So that's why. And honestly, like in full transparency, I mean, if the allegations were to be disclosed at this like first point, I mean, you typically see groups would come together, talk about what's going on, let's get our stories together. And that takes away from the whole process of we need to figure out what behavior is happening so that we can keep our students safe, which was our priority from the very beginning.
And is there like, I'm just curious, are they just allegations right now, or is there like actual evidence against however many fraternities that are on cease and desist?
They were all allegations.
Okay.
Yeah, they reported incidents, yeah.
In your view, what do you think what do you think about the structure? What it is about the structure of Greek life and properties and drinking culture and kids culture? Because obviously it has these problems. And I guess an extension of that is, what do you think about the structure is your solution that kind of goes back to what they were talking about, how transgender people can be a part of organizations look beyond.
Yeah, and I'm sure our affiliated men and women in the room are probably cringing, because I think that it's a larger conversation, right, the drinking culture of a campus. I think what's difficult when you're in a sorority fraternity is you are in this like closed space. There's a couple things at play, right? There's groupthink, so that becomes really difficult and makes things a little bit more challenging when alcohol is involved or when anything's involved, because maybe you did come into a situation and you weren't that much into a social scene, and then that maybe be intensified. But then there's also that not everybody may be drinking or into an alcohol culture. But it appears that way because we associate Greek letters with everything. That's not me denying that there's an alcohol culture within sororities and fraternities. I just think that we talk about it so much because when you join a sorority or fraternity, you're committing yourself to a higher set of standards. So the second that we don't meet that standard, we are all over it. So when we are having unregistered events, when someone gets hurt, which it should never happen, it's going to be that much more talked about, looked at, worked on, because we said we would never do this. And I mean, I think that should be true for any student, but it's that much more important when you're in a sorority fraternity because we made a commitment to take care of one another. So, answers it, but I definitely think that there's just things in place in a sorority fraternity, extra education, all these things. Like, we should not be having alcohol problems. All the tools are there for you to not have these issues. As far as the question about individuals in the LGBTQ community, specifically transgender, it's just a difficult line because our organizations were founded as single sex organizations, and so the history that's there has made it difficult on a larger scale, and it's something that's been taken to Capitol Hill. Like it's something bigger than me of what people are trying to change for sororities and fraternities. So I can't answer that. I don't know.
I mean, I think beyond that though, or do you see any beyond LGBTQ issues? Do you see any form of exclusionary practices in what would structure?
I guess that's a question.
Just to chime in as the sorority fraternity life senator, I think that like the exclusionary factor comes from the part of you have to join a sorority and fraternity. Like you can't just show up to our meetings, right? Like you have to go through our processes and do our ritual and learn our values, and like that's how you join. And that's a big learning jump, right? Like I didn't know anything about AOPI before I joined, and now I know everything about AOPI. And there isn't like a middle ground, like you know nothing or you're all in. But it's just the fact of the process of going through recruitment and joining, I think.
The thing I will challenge my students until the day that I die is that you have every right, other than knowing the secrets, you have every right as an initiated member the second you accept that bid. So there's this like idea that you have to earn it through your new member process, which is what gets us in this place that we're at now, is that they think, not they here, but just like institutionally, Greek life people think that the new member process is where you work hard to earn your letters, and that's not the case. Recruitment should be where you determine if they are supposed to be your brother or sister. And if we did that, then we would not have these issues. If we actually ask them intentional questions like you do in a job interview, which is what recruitment should be, then we would not have these problems. But that's really hard because people don't like change. So if we could get to that place where we treated recruitment like a job interview, then we would have better sororities and fraternities, we would not have hazing, and the new member process would be just about getting to know one another rather than making people jump through hoops. So yeah, as soon as you sign that bid, you have every right as I do, other than getting to know the secrets. And you learn that when you stand up there and there's candles in front of you, like big secret, like it's, yeah. So that's this exclusive piece. But, you know, I'm taking up so much of your time, so.
You're good. I have one more question if anyone has a question.
So if any of the allegations come out to be true, what are the possible consequences for those sororities
If
Yeah, it was.
Do you want me to take that?
Yeah, it's probably new to you.
It would be the same consequences as any criminal conduct, so there could be a reprimand, probation, a suspension, or expulsion. And those would be the sanctions. And then sometimes there are conditions of sanction. So I'll give an example, like sometimes a group members put on probation, and as a condition of sanction, they have to do 3 programs, they have to open up the new member process, they have to have an advisor be present during their initiation. So sometimes there are guidelines, there are conditions of those sanctions, but it would be specific to whatever was happening. So it would be tailored to that group.
Thank you.
Trustee of evening, please give us an update of the board of trustees meeting past week.
Hey guys, first off, thank you so much for having me tonight. I'm really glad to be here. So my name's Austin McLean, and I'm the student trustee. Excuse me. So last week, if you remember, I was here to talk a little bit about what we were going to talk about on the board meetings on Thursday and Friday. Now I'm back to give a little bit more detail about what we all talked about during those meetings. So first off, just a little recap of what the board is. The board of trustees is the final decision-making body here at the university, and 2 student trustees, myself, my friend Justin Kelly, sit on the board to make sure that the student side of things are heard as we're making decisions. So if you ever want to visit us or have questions beyond today, my office hours we're in Baker 301. It's right next to the student comfort building by the vending machines, and you can come Monday 12 to 2. Wednesday 12 to 1, or Thursday 2 to 3, or for Justin, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday 2 to 3, and Tuesday 3 to 4. So first off, we're going to go on with the academic committee, and this committee is just about student success and enrollment. So we started off with the general education reform, and this shockingly was the first time here at OU that we're doing an entire gen ed reform in 4 years. So it's way overdue. And the new goals of this program are going to be to prepare students with their communication skills, critical thinking skills, and leadership skills. And we're working more to increase the experiential learning aspect here on campus. We think here that's the next big wave of higher education beyond lectures. It's also going to focus now more on career net readiness to get listening, speaking, and writing skills up. And it's going to be launching pretty soon, right here in fall 2021. We also had an enrollment update. So this one had a mix of good and bad news. Our new freshman students fell by 309 students. That's an over 7% drop from last year. The reasons for this is one, just census data here in the Northeast. There's simply less students graduating high school in the Northeast of the United States than there was in the past. So all colleges now have a lower pool from students. And also, this isn't just an OU problem. There's struggles across all of higher ed throughout the country about declining enrollment in higher education. So it's an issue that all higher ed is looking at. We also had a continuing undergrads fell by 592. That's over a 4% drop. And one of the reasons for this is an increase in the time of graduation with College Credit Plus. So as you may know, College Credit Plus are high school college programs you can take in high school. Those are decreasing the amount of time to a degree, lowering our number of undergrads completing the full 4 years. But some milestones, some good things. Our average new freshman incoming GPA was 3.55, which is a new OU record, which is pretty exciting. And our online graduate programs are up 8.2%, which is also a new record. We also went over a community standards update, where there's been some great work going on, shown here by the pre and post survey, that 99% of students that went through this standards process felt that their rights were being upheld. And 100% were able to identify ways to avoid future violations inside the future. Some really impressive stats. We have a 30% decrease in cases over the past 4 years. The academic misconduct has fell by over 20%, and we've seen decreases in alcohol and marijuana charges but we do have a uptick inside the presenting of false and misleading information from last year. It's up 89%. So that's something we're going to continue to look at. We also got some new centers going in. There's a Center for Consumer Research and Analytics going into the College of Business, and also a Master's of Science and Cardiovascular Perfusion going in. Next are the Governments and Compensations Committee, and this is just a review of how OU functions with its executive and administration teams. So with this, the Graduate Student Senate came in for a constitution change. This was a very similar change to what the Student Senate came in last year to do. So the only change is that their constitution used to say that for them to amend their constitution, they had to come in front of the Board of Trustees and seek approval. Now it's no longer the role of the Board of Trustees for them to change their constitution. So once they decide to do it, it's all good. And also we did some ethics training inside the governance committee. We do this once a year, and this is just a way to make sure that we're all staying in compliance, taking care of our public trust, and making sure there's no conflict of interest on the board. Next was our resources committee, and this is about all things of building up the university and more importantly, how we're going to pay for it. So we had a financial update, and we had some budget variances from the forecasted budget in FY19 to what it actually came out to be. So our state appropriations went up by $4.7 million. So that's an increase from 1% to 2% from what it was. We got some people in the Student Senate to think that lobby for this to get this percentage up, which was a really great thing. So we have more money coming in there, but as we talked about, the undergrad net tuition has fallen by $6.6 million. But there's plans to increase. The University Service Committee, the Strategic Executive Enrollment Committee, to look about how we can do better at enrollment in the future. And we're also going to increase our efforts here in the marketing department. And here's just a little graph for you guys to visually see about right here in 2020. We've had a little dip down, but we have plans to increase in the future. We also have some fee approvers here. So here is like business, sports administration, and a policy leadership certificate. And then we have a Series 2020 plan of finance. This is, we're going to issue some new debt coming here in spring 2020. It's going to be a $75 million tranche. And the purpose of this debt is to get some of the badly needed capital improvement plans here to make our university better. Things like the new HCOM building coming in Athens and some of the Clinton renovations. Why the timing is right for this is if you guys have been paying attention to the markets, that the interest rates are really at some historic lows right now, have been for a while. So now is a great time to start to take out debt to be able to do these investments for the long-term future of OU. And then with our audit and risk management committee, here's some of the audits that are going on right now. Honors tutorial college is completed and everything was cool there. And here's the list if you guys want to read some of the other things that are in progress, planning to be in progress. And then we had an ICA compliance update, and there we'll just verifying that we're keeping it all safe with the NCAA, and how we pursue some compliance education is with monthly coaches meeting, annual coaches recruiting exams, and there's a minimum of one semester meeting with all student athletes, so they know their role and their rights. And there were no major findings, which is an audit. No news is always good news. So that was the basic of our report. Do you guys have any questions for me? Yeah.
Do you guys have anything like in the works to try to like bring more money into the campus? Obviously, like people are spending less on TV. Do you guys have any ideas of how you can maybe convince people to not do as much to come here and go through the full 4 years? Or is that just kind of like the thing you can't really do much about?
Yeah, I think there's not a lot we can do it that with College Credit Plus, but something we are looking at is encouraging people to get double majors and to take on minors to stay there for a year and then come out with more degrees. I think it's a strategy that we're going to be pursuing in the future. Thank you. Yeah, Jack?
What was the statistic about the false and misleading information by 89%?
Oh, sorry, what was that last sentence?
The false and misleading information that went up by 89% from last year. What is that attributed to?
Yeah, you know, Dr. Bina might be able to do, we're not exactly sure. You're sure the false and misleading information?
So, it's not a trend. So we go before the board every October, and this is an increase that wasn't in our stats the last few years. So we just had a rash of folks who were lying when confronted with behavior either by police or RAs or during the conduct process. So if it keeps happening, in subsequent years, we would probably try to figure out a way that we proactively talk to students and let them know that when you behave in that way, that just gives you more potential sanctions on top of a court decision that brought attention to your behavior in the first place. So, and false IDs is part of that too. So the lying is what you say and what you give to people. So.
Awesome, thank you.
So I was just curious, what, if you knew the process of how they choose, which buildings, like how they assess the building remodeling, just out of curiosity, if you had any idea.
Yeah, I don't know the exact details. I know how it is presented to the board is that they'll see approval in the early design phase. So there's a budget for the design and then a budget for the construction. And so we fund it throughout the entirety. But in terms of the importance, there's a team that ranks on various factors that in terms of the importance of student success and the deterioration of the building. It's kind of a mix on that.
Yeah, because I was just, I'm the College of Fine Arts senator, and Clippinger Hall was renovated, said last in 1989, and the College of Fine Arts hasn't been renovated since early 70s, and we're also the only college in the past 2 years to gain enrollment in students. So I was just curious on what their process was and how they.
Yeah, now I don't know the exact details, but I do know that the College of Fine Arts has been a,
Yeah. So each college division, most of the buildings are actually assigned by them. I wouldn't say owned, so all the properties are owned by the state, right? So I'll juxtapose fine arts with housing and residence life. So housing and residence life, they bring in revenue because the people live in residence halls, and all that money is used to pay RAs, pay staff, pay all the utilities, and for the upkeep of those buildings. So when a roof leaks in a building, residence life has been saving up money over the years and paid by students to be able to go and do the roof. So you mentioned like last summer or summer before, James Hall, we replaced every brick in the outside of that building. That's because we know after a few decades, you have to do that on a building that's made out of brick. So we save money every year, so that in 20 years, we have the $2 or $3 million it takes to do that. Okay? So you juxtapose that with Siegfried or COFA buildings that they're responsible for. COFA is either our smallest or one of our smallest colleges. The students who are paying tuition into COFA mostly go to professors and for upkeep, but there's not a lot of money in their budget to be able to do the work that you need in the building, stuff in the building. So when that happens, when it's Siegfried or Baker Center, which is the university property, so they're basically in line with all the other projects that the university has to do or should be doing that are not owned specifically by one division or one department. So the last example, so the last example I would say that goes unnoticed is our skiing tunnels that run underneath the campus. They've been spending millions of dollars to upgrade all those skiing tunnels. So we don't see those. But without them being operational, we can't get electricity, internet, or hot water to a lot of the residence halls on campus. And some of you in both on campus, some of you experienced over your time here, heating and cooling issues within buildings. A lot of that's tunnels that have been prioritized over some buildings, like maybe parts of Baker or maybe in Siegfried or other things. So that's part of it. For a maintenance standpoint, the university as a whole has hundreds of millions of dollars for maintenance projects, like the building you mentioned, the residence halls, the steam tunnels. So we can't spend hundreds of millions of dollars in any one given year. So we prioritize 10, 20, 30, 40 million dollars for projects in a given year, which seems, on the ones that we can afford to get done.
Yeah.
Answer? Okay,
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Lee. That's a great question. Yeah, Brent.
So touching on the Senator Duncan's question about the uptick in, sort of the falsified information question, is that students that have been found in violation of falsified information or just been had charges levied against them? A few of the members of the body of your students and committees
obviously, we're moving through the process and we understand that there's a, you know, a difference in those two. So I was just curious, as a student, have found the violation of that or just charged that?
Yeah, yeah,
Trustee Clay, would you like to answer that?
we do, Captain.
So those are people held responsible, not charged. So,
Great, thank you. Thanks, Barry. All right, Captain. Yeah, please.
So I know we discussed about how capital projects are currently in Athens are more expensive than other places. Was that discussion that you talked to the board about over this past? I know we were talking about it personally, about how projects get more expensive.
Yeah, it was, you know, we actually went through a full presentation on how to try to get the projects down, and how we miss on the forecast on the project. One of the issues is that it's tough to do early phase forecast because any funding over $500,000 needs to be pre-approved by the board of trustees, which includes a design cost. So it's an early design, which is just a guesstimate of construction, which has led projects to be more expensive than we think. But also it's also a challenge that there's not a lot of construction companies here in Athens. So there's a traveling fee associated with that. That does make some buildings more expensive. Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you, awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Motion to staff is helpful.
President Graham,
Present.
Vice President Monkey, President Treasurer McGann, Commissioner Gill,
Roxy.
Senator Shaver, President, Senator Rochelle, President, Senator Elizabeth Indy, Senator Archibald, President, Senator Stevenson,
Present.
Senator Dewar, President, Senator Klein, President, Senator Everlund, President, Senator Moore, President, Senator Art, President, Commissioner Gibson, Senator Senator Gordon, President, Senator Fenton, Senator Quay, Commissioner Schreier, Commissioner Kramer, President, Commissioner Osjohn, Senator Aki, Senator Warkamp, Senator Warren, Commissioner Newman, Senator Steele, Senator Yates,
Present.
Commissioner Zimmerman, Senator Adams, Senator Thomas, President, Senator Galili, Rossi, Commissioner Rosinger, Senator Klein, Senator Schmidt, Roxy, Senator Kelly, Commissioner Conrad Sweeney, Senator Tate, Senator Shank, Senator Ducey, President, Senator Freetag, President, Senator Vanessa, Senator Sweeney,
Present.
Senator Farkell, Commissioner Holcamp, Senator Travis, Senator Carmen, Senator Tiger, Senator Mahmoud, Senator Sweeney,
Present.
Senator Lucy, Senator Ensworth, Commissioner Ramos, Senator Ivan, Senator Miller, Senator Chess,
Roxy.
Commissioner McCarthy, Senator Redstone, Senator Gamble, Burton Friedinger. We have quorum. Okay.
We have no additions to the agenda this evening. Is there any discussion about the previous meeting minutes? All those in favor of approving the previous meeting minutes, please raise your hand. All those opposed, minutes are approved. On to old business. We have none. New business. Okay. First up, we have Senate Bill 1920-05, a bill in support of Ohio universities having a template letter for religious diversity available to students. Whereas Ohio University. Okay. Senator Galili.
I have a statement to read from Senator Galili. She said, I wanted to write this bill because I saw that this is something that a lot of students, myself included, struggled with. The need for this was twofold. Students struggled with emailing professors about excused absences for religious holidays, and some professors were reluctant to accommodate these students. I wanted to write this bill so that students could have a template for the emails they send to professors regarding excused absences for religious holidays, and also so that these students could get reaffirmed support from the university. And with that, I reserve the remainder of my time.
Okay, secondary sponsor, Commissioner Zimmerman.
I agree with everything that's been said. A lot of people have come to us, especially with the recent Jewish high holidays, after their professors have tactfully turned them down for missing class. Even during Yom Kippur, which is the holiest day of the year, Jewish leaders were writing letters to professors about the need for students to miss class. I met with Dr. Sekubit and heard the provosts are willing to work with us to support students in more marginalized religious backgrounds. I really urge you all to vote yes on this bill, as professors wouldn't ask anyone to attend class on a holiday such as Christmas or Easter.
So I support this bill because it just makes sense. It's an attainable and workable way to actually improve the rights of high diversity students, those diverse groups, and I don't see any reason why this kind of doesn't exist already. I have a lot of minority affairs who work on this trying to yield a major
Commissioner Rainbow.
I know everything has been said, and I think, I'm agree that, we need some way for background, people with not
Commissioner Hall.
As a lot of personal note, even though I'm not a Jewish student, I got my holiday on Facebook. So it's kind of
I echo everything you said. I think it's an intriguing point that Christian colleges have great community around them. So other religions and our two
Any discussion on this bill? Senator Sweeney?
I support the bill.
Please, go.
So I support the bill, but I thought professors already had to excuse for religious holidays, so they just are downright not doing it.
Yes.
It is so off. So is it like, I guess like an official like approved list of holidays or just any religious holiday?
Yes. Yes.
I'm pretty sure I also met with Dr. This week, and I believe the list is on the website as well as the letter will be on the website. I think basically, in my opinion, official kind of letter template from the university, hopefully we'll have more of a standing when you talk to professors, that you have to class due to a holiday. Yes.
It's a hyperlink in the letter.
Any other questions? Okay, it's been moved and seconded to vote on Senate Bill 1920-05. All those in favor, please raise your hand. All those opposed, abstentions, bill passes. Senate Resolution 1920-35, a resolution to rent Walter Tennis for accessible Ohio. Whereas,
I would like to motion to table this indefinitely. Had Jordan and I met yesterday, and since we have yet to officially vote the speaker, we decided that's not vote with until the speaker.
okay, it's been moved and seconded to table Senate Resolution 1920-35. All those in favor, please raise your hand. All those opposed, abstentions, one exception noted, resolution is tabled. So, any commissioners have any reports this evening? Yes, Commissioner Rambo.
So it's always so good to see everyone who's available on Tuesday and we also have a video walk on Saturday. Registration starts at 10. I also sent the link to the class. So you can register, you have to register as well.
then know that all everything starts at 10:30, we have some speakers, we go all play the game
And then, Commissioner Bosinger?
All right, so I just wanted to let everyone know the mayor, city council debate is tomorrow at 6 p.m. It's gonna be really interesting time. Government affairs and on campus was really hard on it. There's gonna be a time here where everyone can ask questions. I encourage you for thoughtful and interesting questions to the debate.
We will be having a town hall for students from minoritized communities next Thursday, October 24th at 6:30. If you have questions, please talk to Grant. He'll also send more information and a flyer to the Slack.
The staff, like semester Monday budget, request is going live tomorrow, so if anyone comes in, you can tell them that it's live, open. Another quick point is that if anyone comes into the Senate office and doesn't know how to find this staff, like budget information, don't just tell them that you don't know. You can send them to our workstation page where we have information on how to find that, under application materials and stuff like that. But if constituents come to the office, don't just flat out tell them you don't know. Not that sense, sorry, not tech, not works. Yeah.
Okay. Congressman.
Yeah, so track is organizing a track retreat event on next week going on, and on Monday on South Street, the Residents Life Commission has organized a little stand between the children. And anybody is welcome to stop by. We're going to be having a little planning, organizing party, because they're put together a physical thing for the thing that we're doing. If you're more interested, come talk to me, and then you can come help us make it. We're gonna have a little party on Sunday, and then we're gonna do it and then the actual event is on Monday, and we're gonna start setting up a forgery on South Beach. And also the culinary CSBC meeting this month is on Friday at 4 in Nelson Court. So if you have any major gripes about culinary, come talk to me, or you're welcome to come to the event.
Celebration, you get free dinner afterwards.
We do, yeah, we do.
So, free food. Any other commissioners have a question? Seeing none, move on. Any Senate committee reports this evening? Senator Capito.
I just want to remind you that the budget application is by on Friday, the week before you want it on the agenda, so that you can get it sent to Jamie on Monday. If you have any questions, reach out earlier.
So I already report from the community service committee. First of all, we won third place on the banner competition, so thanks for moving forward on that. Also, ULIFE brought it to our attention that the University of Caps Covered has a huge lack of resources. To combat this, students and this decided to do a food drive. And this will start tonight. For the next 2 weeks, we'll be collecting cans and other non-perishables in the office. We are doing a competition between all the commissions that do different the most. Whoever gets pizza will go out to the commission. And Maddie Kramer will be posting a list of what is accepted. Snacks and hygiene products are with double. And our goal this time is 700 donations. So let's do it. This is going to be really good for a lot of the off-campus residents and our community as hunger is a real issue. Also, we received an email saying a sustainability person at the game needs people to volunteer to help separate our recyclables and non-recyclables and all that to make sure we get a zero-waste game. So it's hoping for this Saturday we get a good number of people there to volunteer and really good impact on the community. And that's the end of my report.
Yes, can I add on to that?
So we have a Canva that I'll send in the Slack, and Eva has a graphic from the Caps Covered of what they need. So it's a little different from last year. We're gonna be accepting canned food and hygiene and household products. So Alicia wrote it on the whiteboard in the office earlier today. Hygiene products and like more expensive snacks will be 2 points, so it's like a point system.
and then cans and other things like that at one point. But we are encouraging people to bring more healthier options and other people last year. People brought in infusions of ramen, which is good, but we all know how much sodium that has in it. So we encourage you to bring in things that are on the list. If it's not on the list, then it won't be counted because they have so many green beans, they don't need it anymore. Don't bring green beans. So, but like on this list that I will send momentarily, bring in those things. And we really appreciate it if you can help out our that. Any other questions? University committee reports. Yes.
So I said, It's a presidential advisory committee on board of conduct. We met on Monday. We talked about some of the survey numbers we have, as well as looking at updating the policy. So if anyone has any comments about that, we have our meeting.
Any other committee reports? Seeing none. On. See my report. So the theme this week is self-use. That's Josh. So happy week 8. I know we're all exhausted. People probably had midterms or about to go into midterms, maybe some next week. Just remind yourself it is Love Yourself Week, like Maxie reminded all of us. So make sure you take yourself out to ice cream or get some popcorn. Just make sure you're treating yourself, taking care of yourself, because I know people are also getting sick still. So please take care of yourself. I will also like to reach out to everyone. Deb Schaefer, who's our VP of Finance, is going to come, I believe, in a few weeks or sometime soon. I don't know the date off the top of my head. And she's asked me to ask all of you if you have any certain questions you want her to talk about. Maybe it's about tuition or just financial state of the university, something maybe more about your college, for instance. Please come talk to me so I can make a list. So I can send it to her so she can have a presentation that's out kind of tailored to us, our interests. So if you have anything, please talk to me. You can send me an email, talk to me after meetings, talk to me in my office hours, doesn't really matter. Another thing, can I get a raise of hands of how many people know about the rideshare group on Facebook? Does anyone know anything about Miles to Share? Yes, I didn't know anything about it either. Sam Crowell, who's Office of Sustainability, reached out to me. I know my first and second year at OU, they had a rideshare page, but I think they took it off now they have a new one. So we're going to kind of, he used to be kind of in Senate's realm before, so we're going to kind of dive into that more later. Hopefully I'll have more data later to share with all of you. Another point to talk about is our town hall is next Monday, October 21st, 7:30 to 9 p.m. in this room. Please come if you can. Please tell your friends, your other student organizations. This is really, really important to engage with student body and constituencies, see what their issues on campus, but maybe also answering some questions. I know SAC is always a big topic. So, yeah, we love SAC funding. Also, I just want to say thank you so much for everyone for homecoming. The alumni have had a great time on Saturday. Everyone who came to the office, I really appreciate your time. That was probably the biggest turnout we had in multiple years. So I really appreciate all of your time. Also, you got free food, so why not go? And also, I'm going to say the importance of the can drive. This is a really great way to have some friendly competition in Senate, kind of get, take your commission out to Kroger or Walmart and just have fun. Have fun with it. It's a competition. Plus, you get free pizza if you win. And also, there's only 3 of us, and we are very competitive people, so you have to beat us. So therefore, you have to bring in stuff. So let's figure out. We're gonna take all you down, right? Yeah. So we'll mark that. But that's the end of my report.
So it's me and my boyfriend in Austin this summer. So I also want to piggyback off of Nancy Drake. Staff members are on one intern program. It's going to be on their own with Daniel in that group. And then the 3 executives and then I just want to add that because there's some confusion. I wrote a lot of little things on the whiteboard and everything, so hopefully everyone understands. But feel free to reach out and add or amend your
My first point is, the Ohio Student Government Association, we're having a meeting on December 7th at Central State University. All of leadership team is going to that, but we also wanted to open it up to the body and ask if anyone to run for a position on it. Most of us are seniors, so we won't be able to be on it because it's a term. Ohio Student Government Association is positioned with each public university in Ohio. And it has legislation that kind of like speaks for all of the students within Ohio and that kind of thing. It's a really, really cool opportunity. They do a lot of lobbying, they do a lot of creative events. It looks really good on the resume. And it's just really cool to hear what other universities are doing at their student government. So if you would like to go to that / run for a position or hear about the position, please let me know and I can give you some more information about that. It's also really fun just to like road trip with us. That was where I first like got close with the exec my freshman year. So yeah. I'm also gonna add about this debate we have tomorrow, event 8:36. It is from 6 to 8:30. Please come prepared with some questions if you come for candidates or if you just want to hear about them. We're also doing Twitter questions if you can't make it with the hashtag #Athens50.
So this is a selfie that I took of Lydia and I on homecoming court this weekend. It's really cool. So our Tadlac initiative is now available in certain restrooms, so go check that out if applicable. And the woman who sat in this chair before me last year managed to save us $1,800, $1,810.90. So if you see her around campus, please make sure to thank her for saving us that money. And now on. So it's a total of $59,070.71, allocated not spent $6,043.60, not allocated nor spent $53,027.11, stack total $230,000, $230,544.60, spot $157,725.67, and then U fund $72,818.95. These numbers are true and accurate to the best of my knowledge.
There's Jordan and I when we were picking up garbage along the side of the road at the retreat. Great times. So I just wanted to say that I'm like so proud of the homecoming banner. I'm actually hanging up in the office. And that money that we won, the $50, committee is going to use that money to donate it to our food drive that Senate is doing. It's just not, we're not going to do it for any competition. It's just we're just going to put it in there. So that's really exciting. I'm so proud of that. There's more booth looks in the office. So when students come in, just say good luck on your exams. People actually really do appreciate that. Please make sure you're throwing away coffee cups. I've noticed a lot of like pumpkin spice lattes. I don't know what people are drinking, but make sure you're throwing those away because we just don't want. There's a lot of bugs in the Senate office this year. I'm not sure why. So just please keep the office clean. And that is the end of my report.
All right. Hello everybody. I hope you've all had a fantastic week so far. The story behind this picture, that was a picture I sent to my mom for the first day of school for senior year. She wanted a picture, so I went into my bathroom. The only thing that I have today is that tomorrow is the last day for headshots. I will put in the Slack the link right after this meeting, so if you are available tomorrow, please sign up for that. I believe Kyle will be getting those pictures to me probably sometime around next week, and I'll be sending them to each individual person that took those pictures. I appreciate everybody that signed up and showed up. It has been great. I think we had 25 people maybe something like that. So yeah, it was also good here. Other than that, that's the end of my report. I hope everyone has a great rest of your week.
So we have 2 associate justice positions, as well as the
Obviously, thank you for being in the
I am not gonna be here next week on Wednesday because Ariel and I are gonna be at the Sword Turn Life Conference. So I was reminded, that Halloween is actually next week. Because of the same rail. So I'm gonna do my little safety announcement now. Okay, so take care of each other, look out for each other. Say something, make sure that you are, enjoy your Halloween festivities, but do so, civilly, okay? All right. And remember, somebody will say it next week.
That is a rare picture of you. Other than next week, I should have can't be back. Do I hear a motion? All in favor of adjournment, please raise your hand. All opposed, mentioned, we are adjourned.
It would be cool as gymnastics. If you are
Are you just watching yourself?
There's 2 people watching.
I know who they are.
Don't be surprised. No, I'm looking at the camera. Oh, 2 people watching. What do they want to see? Come on, do something. One of these.